The traffic's crazy. And then she is.
There I am. And yeah, he's texts me and says the traffic's bad. And I go, I know, I'm in it. The rare time that I actually get to come to the studio, we're like running around. And Sam, can you get me a stand, please? And I am going to add you. Here you go. And this is the technology. Let's see, there's an echo there. How do I get the. I rarely do this. Layout. Here we go. There we go. All right. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, and NBC Sports. AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Opera, and also streaming on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, TE Live, Rumble, GeoSun, and more. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, this is a show about hope and happiness. No gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So there's topics and guests and fun series to that end. If you've missed any of my past shows, let's see, we are in show number 800 and I believe 61, and my 559th consecutive week on the air. And I'm so glad that you are here to chat with me, to stream with me, to love your life with me. And to that end, today is a special Thursday because, well, every Thursday is special because I have my co-host Sam Works on the air with me. And the special series is called Straight Talk with Sam Works and Dr. Marissa as we continue to adjust here so I'm not bobbing around and you're getting seasick. So I am excited because, too, I'm giving away another pair of tickets this morning to the Santa Anita Racetrack and Diamond 100 Racing production of Lunar New Year. And yes, Chinese New Year is coming up on Sunday. So I'm going to teach you a little Chinese before we get into the gratitude sandwich because Sam is helping my face not move so much as his thumb is in the camera. That's okay. That's okay. Do your thing. And so to wish you a happy new year, you can do it in Cantonese or Mandarin. Now, the one you probably know or have heard is Gong Hei Fat Soy, which is Cantonese, which is not the specific Chinese that I speak, but it is good to know or learn anyways. Can you close the door, Sam? Because the echo's pretty bad. Thank you. Okay. So Gong Hei Fat Soy means Gong Hei is congratulations. Fat Soy is fortune. Or Gong Hei is Gong Shi. Yeah, congratulations. That's the Happy New Year part of it. And then Fat Soy is Cantonese for good fortune. So Gong Xi Fa Cai is the Mandarin side, which is Gong Xi, congratulations. Fa Cai is good fortune. My preferred one is 新年快乐 because it actually sounds like New Year. 新年 is a new year, and 快乐 is happiness. So of course, I'm going to like that one. Your happiness guru here. So 新年快乐. Sam, can you say that?
新年
快乐. Try the 新年 again, because intonation is so important for Chinese. 新年快乐. Very good. Now, if you say 新年快乐, it means wash your face quickly.
Okay.
Seriously, because the intonation is so important. So if I say shing, it's new. If I say she, it's wash. So if I say ma, ma, it means mother. Ma means horse. Ma is slow. Ma is to scold. Ma is numb. So one a character can have 5 different meanings depending on the way you pronounce it. Isn't that wild?
That is crazy. And you know what? I heard that's why Chinese and like Asian cultures are really good at music because they're so tuned with the sound.
Exactly. So now we're going to do our normal opening, which is welcome to my special series. And it is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
Can you come out now that you set it up?
Yes.
Okay. So I need to take you off of that.
Yeah, let me log off this.
Okay. So you're going to come out? Oh, there you go. Perfect. I don't have to log off. You just log off there. So this is you usually don't see this when we're on the air together.
I saw this last week.
Except for last week. Oh, I was going to actually give you a hug because they don't usually see us hugging across the screen. And this is a one of those mornings where I thought I was going to be late. You were late and the traffic was really bad. Yeah. So I'm almost happy that I don't have to do this every week normally. Yeah. And I have a beautiful new client out in the IE. And that is why, let's go this way, center ourselves. And that is why, you're taller than me.
I know.
I got to like adjust myself. So let's have breakfast together.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Gratitude sandwich. What are you grateful for? 8 specific things that you're grateful for. And you start.
Okay. One of the things I'm grateful for is that Mark's surgery went pretty well yesterday. For those who don't know, my boss, he had gastro bypass. He got the sleeve. And everyone was worried. He was definitely worried because he was the one in the operation, you know. But he made it out alive, so I'm glad. I got to go pick him up today sometime before he gets out. So
he's the station manager here at KCAA and KRLQ, and so he runs this place. He found Sam. He found Polly. He found a number of people. Oh wow, the camera shows under the table. That's not on screen, is it?
No.
Oh, good.
Just
okay.
This one.
Okay. We're gonna have a Sharon Stone moment there for a second. Let's see. I am grateful that because he had the surgery postponed because he had pneumonia. So that was, So anyways, super glad. I am grateful that I get to every once in a while have close proximity to my co-host on Straight Talk.
Yes, another thing I'm grateful for was you invited me to that Chinese place before we went to see the Temptations. It was pretty good, by the way, guys. If you guys ever want to have some real authentic food, what is it called?
I'm like blanking.
I put it on the spot.
We went to, before the Temptations, we went to, Mandarin Noodle House. So it's actually, there's a funny story about that. It's in, on Garvey, and you have to go, Denny, this is your free commercial. It's got some of the best, unusual Chinese food. Like you don't get that in every Chinese restaurant. It's very authentic. It's a family recipe for the scallion pancakes. And his auntie is actually the one who was who introduced me to this style of cuisine, the dumplings and the beef. You liked the beef wrapped in the scallion pancake. And I hope she's not listening because she actually was known as the Chinese version of Seinfeld's Soup Nazi. And she's retired. And she's lovely. She was lovely to me, but she was not quite as nice to the average person. And they would come in and it would be funny, just like the soup Nazi was not nice, barking or go over there, and it was funny. It was almost like entertainment, and she would just be like, "Can't you?" Like people go, "Hello, I want to order it. Can't you see I'm busy?"
That's
I'll get to you when I will. And anyways, but the food is amazing. The pickled cucumber.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to send them an invoice for promotion. But that was a very good. And then the Temptations were so awesome.
Yeah,
so I'm that gratitude for not only being able to go and see them, and they were phenomenal. Otis Williams is 81 years old.
I know.
And dancing like, yeah. And unfortunately, I found out from Alon, his daughter, who is my co-host on Fridays, by the way, that the guy that I wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers, the bass with that really deep voice, he has a partner and a baby. So yeah, no, I had a momentary and then like, complete deflation. But
you know what's so funny when we were watching the Temptations? They had like the little dance routine, and they're like kicking their legs out and stuff. I really thought like that one of them were gonna get hurt, like they're gonna blow their knees out or something, because like they were just, man, they were out there for being that old. I was like, dang.
Yeah, and the other one that's been with Otis for a while, he's not spring chicken either. I think he's like late 70s. So yeah, for sure. That was amazing. And thanks to my sponsor, Saban Theater, for the ticket giveaways. Speaking of which, I have actually 8 pair of tickets to Herman Hermits. So Peter Noon, you probably don't know, this is beyond your time, but if you look it up, it's a concert, and look up Saban Theater, not the one that says sabantheater.com, because that one's not used. It's Where Music Meets the Soul Productions, and go look that up. I'm giving away 8 pairs of tickets between now and January. I believe it's the 24th is the concert. So keep it tuned here. The first person to go to drmarissa.life and put Hermits will get the first pair of tickets today, and double whammy today. The first person to go to Dr. Marissa and put Chinese New Year will get a pair of tickets to the Santa Anita racetrack, doing a Lunar New Year. I know he's like, maybe I'm going to grab those. He always does that. He's the first to know. He's going to be on his phone. And the first person to put Chinese New Year on my site will get that. It's great. There's a fortune tree. You pick the Hongbao, which is the red packet that has money in it. One packet has $5,000. The smallest packet, I think, has $5. So you're going to get money. And then there's at least 100 costume parade of Chinese outfits. There's food trucks. You get a $10 worth of food from the food trucks. You get to watch the races at Santa Anita. I'm going to be, I love the races. Every time that bell goes up, I'm like, it's like, really? Yeah, awesome. It's so exciting. Better than a date. Anyways, so I'm going to be there on Sunday. They're going to have me say something or whatever. It's kind of cute that they think I'm, whatever. So I am going to be there. So if you'd like a pair of those tickets, we had a winner on Tuesday. So I have one more pair tomorrow, one pair today. So Chinese New Year, drmarissa.life, the station and the show that gives lots of stuff away. You get a pair of tickets, and you get a pair of tickets. All right, so we probably exhausted the gratitude list there. There's a lot of things to be grateful for. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, no, I didn't say bottom of the bum. Bottom of the bun. Your mom's going to kill me. The bottom of the bun is appreciations. Notice I'm not looking at you. What are you most appreciative of yourself? And the reason why we do that is?
Because you always want to make sure that you leave off a good note, and you understand like your glass is half full, not half empty, right? So instead of always bring yourself down, you bring yourself up by knowing and appreciating what you do for yourself.
Absolutely, because otherwise you're dependent on other people who can be fickle, whether they approve of you or not, they approve of you one day and the next day they write something mean. So establishing the core of who you are by knowing what you're great at, what you're not so good at, but focusing on the 88% fabulousness that you are. So let's do a little twist since I'm here. I'm going to appreciate things about you and you can appreciate things about me.
Okay, cool,
Okay?
cool.
Cool.
We'll let you go first.
Of course. I appreciate that no matter what, you're like, you're steady. Like you don't lose your cool real fast. And even when I'm losing my cool, it doesn't seem to faze him, which drives me crazy. But I'm glad because if he was as upset as I was, it would not be pretty. So he's like, yeah, okay.
You should have seen me on the freeway. I was freaking out.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why I didn't call you, because I knew that it's not going to help anything. Did you notice? You thought I was going to call, right? Yeah. He actually called me, and I was posting. So
okay. I was like, should I answer? I called her twice. I was like, oh man.
So I appreciate that about you.
Thank you. Something I appreciate about you is how understanding you are. Because if you weren't understanding, then we probably wouldn't have like this relationship, or this bond that we have together, doing this show, being the co-host. So that's very important, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, at least I act understanding.
88% of the time.
Exactly. I appreciate that you are you're ambitious. I like that about you. You have things that you want, you have goals, you have dreams, and you work towards them.
Yeah. I appreciate how much you want to help me out. When we had that Zoom call meeting, can't say with who,
Well, you can. I mean, John Shin, I'll give him a little props, is someone who produced the Think and Grow Rich film. I was on tour with him. He put together the tour, and he's an entrepreneur on steroids, and he knows, opportunities and things like that. And so I wanted to extend that out to you and anyone who wants to know more. I've expanded my practice to also now include some financial stuff and financial education. So, message me and say, I'm ready to start this new year and learn more about financial opportunities. So there you go.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I appreciate that you're so caring. You're a caring person. Watching you interact with your mom, who I've now seen more than once, and I made up for the fact that I was smacking your butt the last time she was filming us at the Newport Beach Film Festival. It was like he was smacking me first, and then I smacked him, and then and she's like, "Oh no, oh boy!" You can hear it in the background of the video. That was so funny.
So I think I can speak for Paul as well. Like, we appreciate how happy you are in life and how much you love your life. Because at 8 a.m., not that many people are excited, and it's like me and Paul are like, your show is one of the only shows that we actually like. Okay, let's make sure we do stuff right. You know what I mean? Like,
the other host listening.
she has an amazing soul, and like me and Paul, we recognize that and we appreciate that. So
thank you. That's so sweet. Yeah. I'm gonna just take that in. I'm getting a little bit emotional because stuff like that is like so. I mean, I don't do things for the compliments, and that's something that I've learned, that I bake my own cake. Right? I know what I'm good at and what I'm not, and I love what I do. And compliments are great, and criticisms are horrible, but they're just the icing. I bake my cake. However, when someone from the heart, and I felt that, says that, especially Polly, like he's not easy to please, I can tell. So you included Polly. I'm like, yeah. So, but shisha. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And I'm only speaking up for Paul because that's what Paul told me too.
Aww.
So shout out to Paul.
Thank you, Paulie. I'm hoping to see him. I still have not seen. That's the cool thing about being able to come out to the studio is I don't, it took us like months before we physically saw each other, which was kind of funny. All right. So we're waxing eloquent here. We're just going to finish that bottom of the bun now. And thank you. I don't see any comments yet, which is a good thing. Today is probably the only day. Don't comment because I can't reach you, or I have to stick my finger in your face on camera. But no, do comment because we have a great topic today. But first, thank you for joining us for breakfast. I hope that you appreciate yourself tonight when you go to bed because it's so important to do that. All right.
So what is today's topic, Dr. Marissa?
You know, you picked it. But you picked it 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Okay,
ago,
so
yeah.
I'll give you a hint because I actually had some fun with this yesterday. As you know, I do. You do the topic and then I do the elaboration on the promo.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you really want to know how many partners your partner has had in the past? Do you really want to know what augmentation surgeries they may have had or not? And that was my way of playing with the topic, which is essential and crucial conversations that you should be having with your partner.
You should be having with
You
your partner.
should, without shitting on you, what's important. Now, obviously, the most important one that people talk about is, do you want to have kids? I think that is one of the most critical things that you should probably get out of the way before you start on that journey of a glue and connection and building that relationship. So that's what we're talking about today. So if you have any comments, please do go to my YouTube channel or my LinkedIn or my Facebook and go ahead and chat there, and we'll try to get that in front of you so that we can add you to our show this morning. So your topic, you take it away.
Crucial conversations. One of the conversations that didn't pop in my head was the one that you just brought up. Like, should you know how many people your significant other slept with, and the surgeries that they may or may not have? Those are two pretty good ones. I didn't think about that. But
what were you thinking about when you wanted the topic?
You know what? Just the basics. I feel like for me, the most important ones are, your religion, your finances, like who holds the money, or, do you guys believe in savings and all that stuff? Kids obviously is a huge one. Marriage now is a big one because I know there's couples where the guys are like, hey, I don't do marriage, like I'm not getting married. And sometimes the girls are like willing to accept that, and then maybe it's just due to like them being scared of like society, or just like maybe their parents got divorced, they don't want that happening to them, things like that. And there is one other one. So there's and politics, that's what it was. Because even though I don't mind what you are or what I am, like some people do.
Yeah.
And if my spouse or my significant other one has a problem with that, then that's probably something we should discuss.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is a big one. I was asked out by a past guest, and I asked him the first question, which I always ask, and are you a blank lover? Okay. And I don't want to say it because I lost 38,000 listeners the last time.
Okay.
Because that's politics. And I don't value or want to promote or want to be with someone who actually believes that a leader who is a misogynist and who has, and I actually have a friend who personally was not groped, but a cost, not a cost. How do you say it when you get unasked for attention? Like,
unasked for attention.
Like, so like, okay, let's just do this as a role play.
I love role play.
Yes, I know. We're not in the bedroom, we're role playing in the studio. Just calm down. Your friend that thought we were gonna do it. I mean, sorry, another story. But so hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
And then let's pretend that I am that person and you are my girlfriend, and it was this slide in, and so like that is so inappropriate. As soon as I got a thumbs up for that, that is so inappropriate. I didn't throw myself on you. I didn't, I smile at everybody. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm going to use this to make a diversity point. There's a lot of people, a lot of guys who say, I can't believe it. I'm just complimenting you for your outfit. And what's the big deal? And I can't even compliment women anymore. And it's kind of the way that you do it. So if a guy is like leering at you and kind of looking up and down, and I didn't ask you to look at my outfit or my body or my dress, and that kind of attention, what's the word I'm looking for?
I wish I could tell you.
Yeah, unasked for,
Unnecessary.
Uninvited. So she, he did that to her. And so it was, and she moved away and he moved forward. So I don't want to be in a relationship or go out on a date with a guy who thinks that he is, the world's best president in the world or leader of the world, if you get my hint. So I'm just not going to say it out loud. But that is why I ask first off. That's really important to me, because if you think that person is a good person or a good leader, then we got nothing in common.
Wow. See, I'm glad I was one of the conversations,
Yeah. And then the second question, which you'll go, are you kidding me? Is I will ask, do you like the movie Clockwork Orange? Now,
she gonna hate me.
You like it?
No.
Oh,
I've never seen it.
I figured you didn't say it. That's why you're too old for me anyway. It for those of you who've never watched it, watch it and tell me if you understand why I asked that question. The kind of humor and it's basically, again, puts down women. I don't want to be with someone who thinks that's funny. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, what I like about you, Dr. Marissa, is that you kind of think outside the box. Like, instead of asking, like, hey, are you misogynistic or this or this? Like, do you like this movie? Because that movie would tell me a lot about you. Like, you're going around the corners, because if someone doesn't understand how you operate or, like, is not really, like, some people are just, like, straightforward, right? But if you ask, like, hey, do you like this movie? They're not thinking, like, okay, this movie represents this, so she's probably asking me if I'm this, She's probably just like, yeah, I like movies. Yeah, that movie's great, But, like, realistically, you're picking at them, you're dissecting them, their brains, and, like, understanding, like, okay, if they like this movie, then they agreed to, like, this type of lifestyle.
Well, it also speaks to the kind of humor. I think that's an essential. It's not necessarily a conversation. Like, I literally told someone, the last a candidate or victim that I went on a quasi date with, and there were other extenuating circumstances of why it wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell, and I was feeling a little bit bad because it was nothing both of us could control. It was about children. He wanted to have children, and this baby factory shut down. But what I realized, it was way beyond that. I had to explain twice on text my funny. So I think I'm funny, right? Right? I think I have a good sense of humor, but humor is one of those things. Like, if you don't get my sense of humor, then we cannot be together. If I have to explain my funny,
you're just like, oh, you don't get it.
You don't get it, and that's nothing against them, because humor is one of those things, either somebody laughs with you or they don't get it,
Mhm.
right? Or they go, like my husband told me almost every day, you're not funny. Like literally. Now, that's because we didn't have the same sense of humor. He was super dry, super sarcastic. The only way he could laugh is if you were making fun of people. That was his sense of humor.
Ah.
And there are people like that. And, if that's what you want to do it. But I'm not like that. That's like totally opposite to. I used to make fun of people. I grew up in Canada, so we have Newfie jokes. I never understood that. Newfoundland, Newfies, right? Or blonde jokes. I used to tell blonde jokes or lawyer jokes. I don't do that anymore because or even Chinese. Well, it's just like there's so many ways to laugh. Making fun of people, why? Like decaffeinated coffee. Why bother? Right? Just find something to laugh about that isn't putting people down. Right. So, anyways, sense of humor, you don't ask how is your sense of humor though, right? That's an experience thing. So that's really not part of crucial conversations.
But although that is not really a conversation, but that is a barrier of language. Like you are humorous, and that's how you interact, and that's how like you vibe with people. That's your lingo. But if someone doesn't understand you or doesn't get you, then there's something that's just not there, and that can be tough. Because then what's the next thing that they go towards? If they can't connect with you through language, then they'll probably go connect with you through like physicality, which is not the way to go all the time.
I can do that, right? Because we're live together. If you just tuned in and you're wondering who this hootness is in my studio today, I'm actually in his studio today. It is Sam Works because it is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
Every Thursday morning at 8 here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Opera, out of Redlands, California, broadcasting to over 5 million homes. We are so delighted that this is the number one station out in IE. Yeah. And this is the number one 8 a.m. talk show. So we're really happy that you're here. We talk about everything titillating and tantalizing and maybe thought-provoking, a little bit irreverent every Thursday morning because we are both straight and fun, right? Straight fun and straight talk. So and today's topic is, what are essential or crucial conversations that you need to have at the beginning of a relationship before you start going down that road of more serious connection? So we've come up with
body
politics.
count. Politics. Yeah, we'll start there. Politics, finances, religion. Do you want kids? And do you really want to know your partner's body count? So, Dr. Marissa, let me ask you, is that something that you care about or
So, I just think that there's just no good that can come out of asking that question. Emphasis on come. Because, think about it. If we were in a relationship and you said, so, how many partners have you had? What is a good number? If I said I've had 1,000, right? It's like, what? 1,000? I've only had 100, and wow, that
those are
means,
still pretty high numbers.
But that's what I'm saying. And if I said I was a virgin until I met you, it's like, what? That's like a little pressure, or oh my God, maybe she's gonna want to experiment later. I mean, what good? Tell me what good could come out of asking that question and answering that question.
Well, in a guy's perspective, they want a girl with a low body count. They don't want a girl that's been sleeping with a bunch of dudes.
Right. So why would you ask that question? You possibly, ignorance sometimes is bliss.
That's very
right?
true.
Because that BS belief system is already flawed because it comes from an extremely biased guy thing.
Right.
Like, you can dog around thousands of times and the woman shouldn't. Come on.
You know, when I was dating that 33-year-old, I asked her in the beginning of the relationship, and she goes, "See, that's not even fair because I'm 10 years older than you are."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fair enough." And that was
it. Good.
We killed it after that.
Good.
Because like age does have it does make a difference, right? You have more experience the older you get in most cases. But like me, I was 22 and she was 32. Yeah, there was a gap, you know what I mean? And that gap was, who knows, probably larger, or, you know.
It's always big.
It's
always big. Large and in charge.
Yes,
so I think we got a laugh on that. We get a laugh or a thumbs up. So so what do you think? We can probably figure out how to find your comment.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that question? Do you think you should be asking how many partners? Again, if there's something good. Now, should you ask about, have you had any sexually transmitted diseases? That was one I was going to bomb on you because it is I think, an important question. Again, ignorance is not bliss on this one. And okay, it's multifaceted. I know women who've had, the big one, the big scary one is, well, the biggest scary one is obviously AIDS, is obviously, is it Hep C? I believe that's the one. Let's see which one. Herpes, all those ones that are easily spread, transmitted. And it's multifaceted because there's shame in it for the person who has it. So you don't want to say, I mean, even with COVID, like there's shame in saying I've had it. I mean, it's going away because like the vast majority have gotten it. But I remember at the beginning, I had like so many people following me just because they thought I had COVID at the beginning of the pandemic. So there's that, the shame that's around it. There's also the responsibility around it. You should be telling. But then there's things like HPV now where you don't even have any symptoms and you can have it. So you can say, I don't have any. And then you end up transmitting it and it shows up on the woman. Guys are asymptomatic with it. So I learned that from my doctor when my kids were teenagers and they came out with a shot for that. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's very important, actually. I knew someone who, before she started dating him, she made him sign a contract saying that he is clean. And if he is not, and they do stuff and then they get tested and, then he gets sued. And it turns out that he did have something.
Did he know about it when he signed it? So, an official legal document. And what was the consequence if he was?
I'm
money, financial, or
more than likely.
Yeah,
that's usually what people kind of go after. Like, what else are they gonna get? You know what I mean? And I just thought it was crazy. Like for the woman to be like, "Hey, sign a contract saying you're clean," I was like, that's unusual.
Yes,
usually,
that is unusual.
Usually you trust the person, but I mean, I guess she had trust issues.
Maybe she. Do you know why? Like, did she have? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she caught something from him. So, and they had a contract. I was like, wow, this is so crazy.
Did she enforce it?
Yeah, of course she did. She was so serious.
Wow.
Like serious enough to have a contract, first of all.
Yeah. But I mean, to enforce it too. I guess it was legally binding if he signed it. Wow, that is crazy. I've never heard that.
Yeah,
that is a new one.
New one for me too. And for me personally, what do they call it? A dry spell.
What a dry spell? Like I'm trying to like even me up with you because I feel so short. Okay, that's better. All right.
So I actually got tested, blood tested, and then after that, I haven't been doing anything sexual because there was a moment in time. Once this phone clicks off, no, because I never got tested out my whole entire life, and I can't say I never had any fun, and I had girlfriends in the past and stuff, and things happen, so I was like, okay, I want to see if I get, because sometimes you're asymptomatic, like
Yeah.
what you said. So it's like, all right, so I got tested, and after that, I was like, all right, cool. Now that I know I'm clean, I'm not gonna go and fool around. Like, I'm gonna wait until I meet my partner, and so it makes me feel relieved and my partner as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, hey, by the way, on my charts, I can pull it up on my medical records. Be like, hey, I'm clean. I don't have anything. Like, I feel confident. You should feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done anything with anyone ever since. So it's kind of like that green light if like anything comes down to it,
Yep. So are you telling me that before you got tested, you did not ask for that question, that critical question? Like, have you been tested? Are you clean? I mean, I'm not judging you or blaming you. I'm using this as an example
not at all.
of how kind of nuts it is that we don't have that conversation.
We don't want to judge people or make them feel any different, right? Especially if you're trying to get something out of them. Like, let's say you and I, we had like that one night stand, whatever, and so we go out, and then like it's our first night, and like obviously I want it, you want it, but then I ask you like, are you clean?
It's a buzz killer.
It's a buzz killer.
Yeah, but it's an important buzz killer, don't you think?
It does, but it pushes that away. So it depends. Like, if you really want to save yourself, yes, you should do it. But they say young and dumb, so
and full of
fun.
That was good. That was good. That was bad of me. But so I understand. I know I've been in the throes of that as well, and it is a buzz killer. But I'm saying for myself, I absolutely, if I come out of my dry spell, that's 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and 1 hour. But who's counting?
You can really backtrack to the day that
It's so important. That's the critical. Okay, so we've got now. I've taken off number of partners off the list because I just don't think there's anything good that comes out of it.
Right.
So for me, the number one is kids. The number two is no. The number one is politics. Number two is, and it's not politics. Like, I'll date a Republican. I mean, I'm independent, and they have to be a liberal Republican. And there's certain issues, valuing diversity, all of that. So it's more likely that I would date a Democrat because of those things. I'm not a socialist, but I'm definitely believe that you can help people and make money at the same time. So politics is one, specifically asking the question if you supported that president that is, in my books, misogynistic. Number two is baby factory shut down. Number three is sexually transmitted diseases. What diseases have you had? And what's the other one?
No, I said finances.
Finances. Well, see, this is the tough one. It should be for me. It wasn't before, and I paid for it. I didn't have a prenup. I didn't. I knew that he made significantly less money than me, but I didn't think that it mattered. But now I know that there is definitely an importance of ambition for me. I won't say like a lot of money, but just that you want to have that certain lifestyle.
Yeah, I definitely think you got to be financially literate, because there's poor doctors out there. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you save all that money, a lot of these doctors, they spend so much time in school that they don't spend so much time learning about finances and savings and all this stuff. And, even if you don't make that much money, you can still,
be smart with your money.
Be smart with your money. And I think that's important. I dated a girl one time and I said, hey, why don't you save money? She's like, why do I need to? And I was like, just in case something like catastrophic happens. She's like what? And I was like, I don't know, like the pandemic. And she's like, we get stimulus checks.
Wow.
Unemployment, I was like, okay, what about like if that doesn't work? She's like, I got my parents. I was like, what if your parents are not there? You know what I mean? Like, what if like just like you need security, you need comfort, you know.
Yeah.
Like this month for me, I spent more than I needed to. I took out so much money out of my, not my retirement, but out of my savings, my emergency funds, all this stuff, because a lot of things happened at the beginning of this year that I needed to take care of. And if I didn't save that money, I'll be,
Up shiitakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been out of luck, So I think finance is important. And I know some cultures, like my cousin, he's with, and I'm not trying to be like, whatever, but Mexicans, usually the wives hold all the money and they deal with all the finances. The guy makes the money, the wife holds the money.
Yeah.
And with me, I never experienced that before, but that is very common, So I was
it's
like,
a cultural difference.
Cultural
it's a group
difference,
difference, not a stereotype.
Yeah.
Let's not get our panties all in a bundle. He's not doing a stereotype. It is a group difference. There are group differences. Not all, but many do it that way. And I know the Filipino culture has similar things on that one as well.
Right. And then there's like people, especially when they get married, like, hey, do we have a joint account? Are we going to share all our money together? Like that's something that we should talk about, especially if one doesn't make any money and the other one makes all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is one of those, one of my past guests, Dr. Pat Allen, who everybody loves. It's one of my top videos that people watch of my interview. She rakes me through the romance coals, but her thing is the woman can make more than the man, but then, when it comes to sharing the mortgage or sharing the rent, you can't ask someone who, and this is what happened to me, who makes like 1/50th of what you make to go in half. So her formula was a percentage, whatever percentage difference there was in the incomes, that's what they contribute. And it worked when we were engaged, but it did not work afterwards because he could, there's no way he could make what was required. And so the decision was not made, but it just defaulted into him being a stay-at-home. So that began it was important to me that I had someone who was my equal that way. And so, that was just one of the things that began to make it unravel. So, but, I think that it's possible to have a professional woman making a lot of money with a guy that doesn't make very much money. I think it's possible, but it's not. You have to really work at it. Like you have to. Although I have been thinking that if I was to date again, a mechanic who also does masseuse on the side. Horrible. Sorry.
She wants a guy with big, strong hands.
Yeah, and other things.
200 pounds, 6'2".
Who massages and fixes my car.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're almost out of time again. Let's see. I think we really dissected this topic, and I think that I'm hoping that your relationships are edified. And maybe you have some conversations that maybe you haven't had before on this at the beginning of your relationship. But the reason I think it's important is when relationships end and I'll say, what happened? And some women, professional women that I coach will say, it was their philosophy on money, their philosophy on relationships, or their sense of humor, and those are all, or like he is polyamorous. That's another question to ask now, right?
Yeah,
we had a whole show on that because there's so many different flavors of partnerships than there were when. I'm ageless, but a long time ago that it was either heterosexual or heterosexual, right? And
Yeah.
then it went, heterosexual and, gay. And then now it's multi or and all these terms. So I think that's an important question to add at the beginning.
Now it is, yeah.
Right? Okay. So we just added one.
Mhm.
So I guess communication, your buzzword, is so important, even if it is a chemistry killer or momentary dogging killer.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can have fun, especially if you guys go drinking. You guys have like shots lined up, and then you ask those questions, taking those shots. Make it fun. If it's too serious of a conversation, don't make it too serious.
Don't wait until their tongue is in your mouth to ask the questions.
Yeah.
You bring out like the naughty in me, for sure.
The fun
For
side.
sure, for sure. And it's worse that he's physically next to me now, see? So if you have any comments on that, just feel free to go to the show page and do the comments, and we'll comment on there for the rest of the week. I love that you join us on Thursdays. This is the series Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And if you have a topic that you would like us to chew on,
I could have said something.
gargle with,
Yeah.
but I don't swallow.
10 points. That was a very crucial conversation back in the day. Do you swallow? But we'll talk about that next time.
We're talking about mouthwash. I thought I was slipping that in without a
FDA
notice,
approved.
but yes,
Yeah.
Sorry, Fred. We are out of time. What's your final word?
Have conversations. Have crucial conversations, especially if this person means a lot to you. Yeah.
Or and if you don't know if they mean a lot to you,
Right. Before they mean a lot to you. Before they mean a lot to you.
Yes. Timing is everything. But I like that shot thing. Even if you don't drink, you can do something fun about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
it can be food, like little snacks,
Yeah.
hot sauces or something.
Yeah, scallion beef pancakes, right?
There you go.
Take a bite of this. Thank you for joining us tomorrow. It is Tempting Conversations with Alon Carter, who is the daughter of Otis Williams, The Temptations. That's why that's the title. And we're going to be talking about her time as a Playboy model in the castle. We're going to be talking about her dancing on Soul Train. We're going to talk, she was in Bobby Brown's first music video right after he married Whitney, or right before he married Whitney. So that's interesting. We went to see the movie Whitney Houston. That was an amazing movie. So
She better be on our Thursday talk show.
Do you want her on?
Yes,
okay.
I want her on.
All right. So that's it for today's show. Thanks for joining us. Remember, go to drmarissa.life. Put Chinese New Year if you want the pair of tickets to Santa Anita and a pair of tickets to Hermits. This is all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. I have to. Where's the light? There it is.